Shalom and welcome to my weekly video message. Did you know that taking a daily shower is as common in the United States as drinking a cup of coffee and brushing one's teeth? It's not clear though whether a daily shower is to our benefit or not. But washing our hands each morning certainly is advisable and is actually practiced as part of our daily Jewish ritual routine. In fact, in his Laws of Prayer, Maimonides writes that in preparation for the morning prayer, one should not only wash one's hands, one should also wash one's face and feet too. What is the source for this law? In this week's Torah portion we read that each day before beginning the temple service, it was a mitzvah for the Kohanim to wash their hands and feet from the kiyar, the wash basin, which stood in the sanctuary and later in the temple in Jerusalem. Some suggest that the reason we are required to wash in the morning is because the reason God restores our soul each morning is in order for us to be able to serve Him. And therefore, we wash our hands to sanctify ourselves before we do our daily service, just as the Kohen was required to do so before his daily service. The question is, however, this only explains Maimonides' requirement for washing our hands and feet. But why does he add a requirement to also wash our face? So here is a beautiful explanation. Back in Russia, before the revolution, there was a chassid of the 5th Chabad Rebbe who started to manufacture galoshes, a type of rubber boot that slips over one's shoes to keep them from getting muddy or wet. Soon his every waking hour and thought was completely occupied in his new and flourishing business. Said the Rebbe to him, "I have seen men with their feet in galoshes, but a head in galoshes? Sure, put your hands and your feet into your work, but your head, save your head and your heart for more important matters. As the Mishnah in Ethics of Our Father teaches, who is rich? He who is satisfied with his lot. As it is written in Scripture, when you eat from the toil of your hands, you are fortunate, and it is good for you." Yes, we must toil, and we can involve ourselves in our work. But at the end of the day, our minds need to be free for more important things in life, like our relationship with God and fulfilling our purpose here on earth. This can help us understand why Maimonides adds the requirement of washing one's face. You see, the deeper reason for the priests having to wash before starting their service in the temple was to rid themselves of worldly attachments before devoting themselves to spiritual pursuits. In the times of the temple, the Jewish people in general, and the Kohanim in particular, stood on a very lofty spiritual level. Of course, people still worked hard to make a living, but their work had secondary importance in their lives. The most important thing was their spiritual lives, their service of God. So before the priests would begin their service, they would wash their hands and feet as a way of cleansing themselves of mundane affairs. But they only needed to cleanse their hands and feet. No other part of them needed cleansing because no other part was immersed in work in the first place. After the temple was destroyed, however, we became dispersed throughout the world, and more so, we became immersed in worldliness. Instead of cherishing our brains as special tools for deep meditative prayer, for a challenging session of Torah study, or for the pursuit of mitzvot, we started giving away headspace to matters that should not be the main focus of our lives. And because this challenge is so great, Maimonides added a requirement to wash our face before the morning prayer, to serve as a reminder to not lose focus on what truly matters in life. I just wanted to conclude that in practice, however, the requirement today in the Code of Jewish Law is only to wash our hands in the morning, because this recognition that we are getting up to serve God each morning is expressed the moment we wake up and thank God for restoring our souls with the words of Modeh Ani. It is at that moment, each day, that we remind ourselves that we are in the presence of God and express our inner desire to fulfill His will each day. Shabbat Shalom.